Hi, my name's Jeremy, and welcome to Online Broadcast Blueprint. Let me tell you a bit about myself, why I'm starting this channel. I started in broadcast radio in 1985 and did that for just over 10 years, working in all the main formats, CHR, country, classic rock, oldies, even news talk. I've been a music director, production director, assistant program director. And I did that up until 95, 96, when I had to make money to support my growing family. And radio was notorious back in the day for not paying you much unless you worked in a major market doing mornings or something. That wasn't me. And so beginning in about 95, I did other things, has spent the last 30 years, 40 years working in corporate positions. For the last 15 years, I've been a corporate training manager and still do that. That's my full-time job. But because of the internet, because of changes in technology, now we're able to do things we couldn't do in 1985 or 1995. Podcasting, online radio, all of these things are now opportunities for folks to dip their feet in the water in the world of broadcasting. So about a year ago, I jumped in, started my first online radio station called Classic Guitar Rock Radio. It's an online station that plays classic guitar rock. It's guitar-driven rock from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's kind of the music I like. And so it's kind of driven by my love for that music. And it's fun. It's fun to operate that little station. Well, back in November, on a whim, the day after Thanksgiving, I currently live in Spokane, Washington, but I have a home over in Western Montana, about a 2.5 hour drive away. It's about 112 miles away. And I thought, I wonder if I could start a little radio station for this area. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. These are little small towns of 500 people, 300 people, 800 people, all in this county in Western Montana, and also a county in North Idaho. Some of the most beautiful scenery you'll ever see in your life. It's gorgeous, but it's literally the Tules, right? Out in the middle of nowhere. I thought, can you do a station there? Well, so I started this little station. I knew how to do it. I'd done it once before with Classic Guitar Rock Radio. And I thought, well, I'm going to start a little station here. And I didn't make this decision because I was a genius. I just thought it made sense to do it this way. And I thought, okay, here's this little rural area that doesn't get served by the bigger radio stations you can't even pick up radio stations. It's out in the middle of the mountains. So completely underserved area. And so I thought, doggone it, I'm going to make this a local radio station for the folks in this county. Guys, in about 3 days after I started it, I had 5 times the listeners that I have on my Classic Guitar Rock station. Within a week, I had 3 people who'd called me wanting to be sponsors, wanting to pay to be a sponsor on this little radio station out in the middle of nowhere. And that's when the light bulb came on. The reason that this station is so successful compared to my other one, I'm actually making money from this radio station. I can't tell you that's the case with the Classic Guitar Rock station, right? And as I talk to many of my friends in the online radio station world, most of them don't turn a profit. I'm turning a nice little profit with this station. And it's because of something I do, not tooting my own horn. This is just why it has worked. I don't know if I've made up this term, but I use it. Hyper-localization. Hyper-localization. I think that is the best strategy for having a successful online radio station, which might seem counterintuitive because the beauty of online radio is anyone that with internet can listen to it anywhere. You're worldwide. Well, guess what? There are a bajillion online radio stations worldwide. And who wants to hear your 80s music playlist, your yacht rock playlist? I mean, those are a dime a dozen, let's be honest, okay? But what I stumbled across here is if you keep your station hyper localized, you can make money. And that's what I want to talk about on this channel. So hopefully you'll come back often. I'll be sharing regular updates on things I'm doing with both radio stations, but especially Radio Valley. So you'll kind of see how I do it. We'll talk about the technical stuff. We'll talk about the mistakes I've made. We'll talk about the gear you need. We'll talk about how I'm not an expert, but I am being successful with this station. And we'll talk about some tips and tricks. And as we do that, hopefully I'll hear from you and you guys will have some ideas and things as well. But I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with you. By the way, in the description for this video, you can check out both of my online radio stations so you kind of get an idea for what they sound like. Again, I'm not an expert, right? I've only been doing this a year, but I have learned a lot over that year. And like I said, I'm turning a profit. And I'm really close to being profitable with Classic Guitar Rack, by the way, also. And here's a little hint about that. We've started to hyper localize it instead of trying to broadcast to the world. And that's really what I want to spend a lot of time talking about on this channel. Tips you can use, things you can do to actually turn a profit with your radio station. I think a lot of it will hinge on how localized you are. So if that sounds interesting, if that sounds intriguing, I hope you'll come back and join us, and we'll take this journey together. Thanks so much. Check out the links for both of my stations below, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.